Why did my husband hand me divorce papers in front of my co-workers after I told everyone he was weak and not enough? How did he stay calm for weeks, then end it with one legal move that started the same day? I thought I controlled the story, until the proof was already printed, dated, and real. My name is Nausicaa Calder, but everyone calls me Nessa because the full name makes people stare. I was 34 then. I worked as a client support lead at a software company. My job was to calm angry people and make problems sound smaller than they were. I was good at it. I did the same thing at home. Grant was my husband. He was 36. He ran operations at a warehouse. He woke up before dawn, came home with dust on his boots, and talked like life was a checklist. He used to think that was love. He used to think steady was enough. I did not say I hated him. I did not even say I wanted another man. I said I wanted more. That word sounded clean. It sounded fair. It made me look like the reasonable one. That morning started in our kitchen. The light was pale. The kids were at the table. Mila was drawing a horse with a purple mane. Owen was pushing cereal around his bowl like it was a game. Grant asked if I could stop scrolling and look at the school email. I said I had already handled it. That was not true, but I said it fast, like the speed made it real. He said he could do it if I was busy. I said he always tried to take over, and it made me feel like I had no space. He did not raise his voice. He did something worse. He looked tired, then nodded like he was agreeing with a stranger. He asked if we could talk later without the kids. I said we could, but I also said there was nothing to talk about if he would not change. He asked what change meant. I said it meant being a strong provider, being a leader, being someone I could respect. I watched his face while I said it. It felt like pulling a thread and seeing what came loose. Mila asked why Daddy's coffee cup was on the other side of the counter. Grant said he had rinsed it early. I said he was being dramatic and making a point. Mila looked between us. Owen said a word he liked, something like dramatic, then laughed. Grant's jaw tightened. He said Owen should not copy adult words. I said maybe he should stop acting like a child if he did not want kids to copy it. Grant put his keys in his pocket and checked his phone. I saw a little flash on his screen. It was a calendar reminder. The title was short and plain, Meeting, Personal. The time was 10:40 a.m. I did not know why, but it made my stomach tighten. I asked what that meeting was. He said it was just something he needed to do. I asked if he was hiding things now. He said he was not hiding anything. I said he always said that, and it never felt true. He looked at me for a long second, then turned the phone face down on the counter. That small movement felt like a door closing. After he left, I stood in the kitchen and told myself I was not wrong. I told myself that a man should not expect loyalty if he could not keep up. I told myself I was just asking for basic life. I said to my own reflection that respect follows results, and I had results. He had excuses. At work, I wore my good blouse, the one that made me look like I was holding my life together. In the open plan office, people always watched each other without admitting it. I answered tickets. I smiled on calls. I fixed problems. Then I went to the break room because I knew Darla and Kelsey would be there. Darla was my best friend. She was 33. She loved stories the way some people love dessert. Kelsey was 32, and she filmed everything for laughs. I liked them because they never made me feel guilty. They made me feel right. Darla asked how my morning was. I said it was the same. I said Grant acted like I was the bad guy because I wanted more. Kelsey asked what more meant. I said it meant not living like I was stuck with a roommate who paid bills and expected a medal. Darla asked if Grant even tried anymore. I said he tried in small, embarrassing ways. I said he made lists and called it effort. I said he talked about budgets like it was romance. I said he did not understand what it meant to be a provider in a real way. I said I carried the home, the kids, and the emotional work, and he carried nothing but his own pride. Kelsey said I should not have to beg for basics. I agreed. Darla said some men were built to be comfortable, not to lead. I said Grant was like that. I said he wanted credit for showing up, even when showing up was the minimum. They laughed in that sharp way that felt like being on a winning team. Kelsey took a sip of coffee and asked if I was still going to the rooftop bar on Friday. I said yes. Darla said I should come, dress up, and remember who I was before I became Mrs. Warehouse. I said I missed that version of me. I also said Grant would never understand. My phone buzzed. It was a message from Grant. He asked if I could pick up milk on the way home. I stared at it like it was an insult. I told Darla he only texted me when he needed something. Darla said he sounded like a child. Kelsey said I should ignore him for a while, let him feel it. So I replied, late on purpose. I said I was busy and he could handle milk if he was so capable. Then I took a screenshot of his message. I sent it to our group chat with a line about how a weak provider always needed a manager. I watched the little reactions pop up, laugh emojis, a skull, a crown. It was stupid, but it fed me. It made my choices feel normal. Later, when I walked past my desk neighbor, I caught a look. She asked if everything was okay at home because I looked tense. I said I was fine. I said my husband had been acting insecure lately. I said he did not like that I was growing. The words came out smooth, like a story I had told before. On the way home, I rehearsed what I would say if Grant looked upset. I told myself I would stay calm. I told myself I would be the adult. I also told myself that if he got emotional, it would prove my point. Either way, I would win. When I opened the front door, the house smelled like dish soap. Grant had cleaned. The kids were in the living room with cartoons low. Grant was at the counter sorting mail into neat piles. He had one folder open, plain and thick, but I could not see what it said. He closed it as I walked in, too fast for it to be nothing. He asked if my day was okay. I said it was fine. He asked if we could talk after the kids went to bed. I said he always wanted talks, and talks never changed anything. He said he still wanted to try. I said trying was not the same as doing. Then I noticed his phone again. Another alert blinked on the screen, and he slid it away from me without thinking. It was the same title as before, meeting, personal, like it was repeating. I did not ask again. I just smiled like I did not care. But inside, something moved. It was not guilt. It was fear that he had a plan, and I was not in control of it. Friday came fast. I acted like it was just a night out, but I planned it like a small war. I chose my tight black dress, the one that made me feel like I still had choices. I put extra time into my hair. I did it while Grant sat in the living room with the kids and kept the volume low. He did not ask where I was going. That silence made me want to talk more, not less. Mila asked if I was going to a party. I said it was just a work thing. She asked if Daddy could come. I said Daddy did not like fun places. Grant looked up from Owen's toy box and said he could come if I wanted him to. I said it was fine either way. I said it like I was being kind, but I also wanted him to refuse so I could complain. He did not refuse. He asked what time. I said 8. He nodded and started putting the kids' pajamas on early, like he was removing obstacles from my night. That made me annoyed. I wanted him to be messy so I could feel like the cleaner one. On the drive to the rooftop bar, Grant kept both hands on the wheel. The city lights reflected on the windshield. He asked if this night mattered to me. I said it mattered because I needed a life. He said he understood. He asked if I could not turn it into a fight. I said I was not the one who always turned things into a fight. When we arrived, the rooftop was crowded. The music was loud, but not too loud. People stood near heaters with drinks in their hands. Darla and Kelsey waved as soon as they saw me. Kelsey lifted her phone like it was an extra arm. Darla hugged me and said I looked like I remembered myself. I said I did, and I said some people wanted to erase that. Grant stood beside me like he was not sure where to put his body. Darla looked him up and down and asked if he was okay being there. I said he was fine. I said he was learning to be supportive. Grant asked if we could get a table near the edge so the kids would be safe in my mind later. I said the kids were not there, and he should relax. He said he knew, but he still liked calm spaces. I told him he always needed things his way. He said he did not want my way to become public embarrassment. I heard that, and I held it in my pocket like a match. We got drinks. Grant ordered something simple. Darla asked what he did for work again, like she forgot on purpose. Grant said he managed operations at a warehouse. Darla asked if that was stressful. Grant said it could be, but he handled it. Kelsey asked if he made good money. Grant said we did okay. I laughed and said okay was a funny word for barely. Grant looked at me. He asked if we could talk later. I said it was not a big deal, and he should not be so sensitive. Darla leaned in and asked if I still felt like he provided enough. I knew what she was doing. I liked it. I said I felt like I had been carrying too much for too long. I said I wanted a man who could lead without being told. I said I did not want to manage a grown adult, and then clap for him when he did chores. Grant asked if I could stop speaking about our marriage like it was a show. I said I was just being honest. I said honesty was not a crime. Darla nodded like a judge. Kelsey smiled and kept filming short clips. Someone from my office recognized me and came over. She asked who Grant was. I said he was my husband. She said he seemed quiet. I said quiet was one word for it. I said some men were quiet because they had nothing to say. Grant's face stayed calm, but his eyes changed. It was like the light behind them turned off. Kelsey asked what I meant when I told her last week that he could not keep me satisfied. I felt a thrill because that word sounded big and dramatic. I said I meant in life. I said I meant effort, ambition, energy. I said I did not mean anything dirty. I said I was not a rude person. Darla laughed and said I was too polite for my own good. I liked the way that sounded. Grant asked if we could leave soon. He said he had an early start. I said he always used work as an excuse to avoid facing the truth. He said the truth did not need an audience. I said maybe it did, because I was tired of being the only one who said it. Darla said Grant should not be mad, because it was just talk. I said yes, it was just talk, and if he was strong, he would not care. Grant asked why strength always meant taking disrespect. I said respect was earned. I said I had been patient for years. He asked what patience meant if I spent it mocking him in front of strangers. I said he was twisting things. I said he was trying to make me look bad. Kelsey posted a short story video of our table. She added a caption about carrying dead weight. I saw it and did not stop her. I told myself it was a joke. I told myself jokes were not real life. I told myself Grant needed to toughen up. Grant said he was leaving. He asked if I wanted to come. I said no. I said he should go if he could not handle normal people. He nodded once, like he had reached the end of a hallway. He left without slamming anything. He did not beg. He did not pull me aside. He just walked to the elevator and disappeared. The group got louder after he left, like a pressure valve opened. Darla said he was punishing me by acting hurt. I said he loved playing the victim. Kelsey said I should not chase him. I said I would not chase someone who was lucky to have me. Later, I ordered a rideshare. I sat in the back seat and scrolled through the story Kelsey posted. It had more views than I expected. A few people had sent laughing reactions. One coworker wrote that I was brave. I read that line 3 times. It felt like permission. When I got home, the house was dark except for the hallway nightlight. Grant was on the couch with a blanket. The kids were asleep upstairs. He looked up and asked if I had fun. I said yes. He asked if I enjoyed humiliating him. I said I did not humiliate him. He humiliated himself by acting weak in public. He asked why I needed strangers to clap for me. I said I did not. I said I just needed the truth out in the open. He sat up slowly and asked if I even liked him anymore. I said he was making it dramatic again. I said he should focus on being better instead of asking for comfort. He stood and walked toward the kitchen. His keys hit the counter with a soft sound. I saw them clearly then. There was a new key on the ring, bright and clean, not like the old ones. I pointed at it and asked what it was for. He said it was for storage. He said he was organizing things. He said it was not a big deal. I told myself storage meant he was hiding something. I told myself he was preparing to punish me. I told myself I was right to keep my guard up. Grant picked up his keys again and put them in his pocket, like he did not want them seen. He asked if I could sleep in the guest room tonight because he needed space. I said he was trying to control me. He said he was trying to keep peace. He said he would not fight in front of the kids. He said we could talk tomorrow when we were calm. I watched him walk upstairs without looking back. I stayed in the kitchen and stared at the counter where the keys had been, and I felt something cold settle in my chest. It was not guilt. It was the feeling that the rules were changing, and I was not the one writing them anymore. Monday after the rooftop bar, I walked into the gym like it was a normal choice, not a message. I told myself I was doing it for health. I told myself I needed routine. I did not say I needed attention. That word sounded childish. I used better words. I said I needed space and confidence. The gym lobby smelled like citrus cleaner and rubber mats. The front desk girl waved and asked if I wanted to renew my class pass. I said yes, because saying yes felt like a fresh start. I saw Ethan near the smoothie fridge, leaning like he owned the air. He wore a fitted jacket and a grin that made everything feel easy. He asked how I was doing. I said I was fine, just tired. He said I did not look fine. He said I looked like I was carrying a heavy life. I liked that line because it made me sound like a hero. He asked if Grant was still acting tight. I said Grant always acted tight. I said he measured life with rules and then wondered why it felt empty. Ethan said I deserved more warmth. He said some men forgot their wives were women, not roommates. I told myself he was not talking about anything specific. I told myself he meant dates, effort, romance, normal things. I said I had tried for years. I said I was done begging for basics. He asked if I wanted to grab coffee after my workout. I said maybe. I said I had to pick up the kids later. He said I could still be a mom and also be happy. That sounded wise, so I repeated it in my head like it was my own idea. In the locker room, I checked my phone and saw a message from Grant. He asked if we could keep Monday nights quiet because Mila had a school project due. The message was calm. It had no blame. That annoyed me more than anger would have. I replied that I would be home soon, but I also added that I was going to the gym now because I needed to stay sane. I watched the typing bubble stop and start, then stop. He finally asked what time I would be back. I said he was monitoring me again. I said I was not a child. He said he only needed to plan dinner and bedtime. I said he could figure it out without me, like he always claimed he could. I finished my workout fast, not because I was in a hurry, but because I wanted to feel chased by time. Outside, the air was cold and sharp. Ethan was waiting by the side door. He said he thought I might like a quiet coffee place nearby. I said yes, like it was nothing. We sat in a small cafe that smelled like burnt sugar. Ethan talked about his travel schedule and his big quarter. He asked about my job. I told him people relied on me. I told him I handled problems every day, and nobody gave me credit at home. He said I should not have to live unseen. I said that was exactly it. I said Grant saw me as a tool, not a prize. I did not hear how cruel that sounded because Ethan nodded like it was normal. He asked if Grant knew I was there. I said Grant did not need to know every breath I took. Ethan smiled and said he liked that I had a spine. That word, spine, felt like a medal. It made me forget the part where I was hiding. When I got back to the parking garage, I saw my car's dashboard camera light blink as I started the engine. I barely noticed it then. I just drove home with music on, and the window cracked, like I was washing the day off me. At home, Grant was in the kitchen again. He had the kids at the table. Mila was cutting paper shapes. Owen was trying to glue a piece to his forehead. Grant asked if I could help Mila in 10 minutes. I said I needed a shower first because I had been working hard. He said, okay. Mila looked up and asked if I had seen her poster board. I said Daddy probably moved it because he liked control. Grant said he had not touched it. I said he always said that. I said he acted innocent even when he caused stress. Grant did not argue. He opened a drawer and pulled out the poster board like he had prepared for that moment. Mila smiled at him. That made something sharp rise in me. I wanted her to smile at me like that. Later, when Mila went upstairs to work in her room, I followed Grant to the hallway. He asked if we could talk for 5 minutes. I said if he wanted to talk, he should start with an apology for embarrassing me at the bar by leaving. He said he left to avoid a scene. He asked why I needed to speak about him like he was a joke. I said I was not joking. I said it was my life, and I could say what I felt. He asked if my feelings had to be shared with strangers. I said yes, because nobody listened at home. He said he listened. He said he had text messages where he asked questions and I shut him down. I told him he was twisting things to make me feel guilty. He asked why I was going to the gym so often lately. He said he noticed the pattern. I laughed and said he was tracking my movements like a creep. He said he was not tracking. He said he just saw the calendar on the fridge and the childcare schedule changing. He asked if there was someone else. My stomach jumped, but I kept my face steady. I said he was paranoid. I said he was insecure because he knew he was not enough. I said if he were a strong provider, I would not need space. He asked what space meant if I came home smelling like coffee instead of sweat. I said he was imagining things. I said I grabbed a coffee alone and he was making it dirty. Owen ran down the stairs then, holding a toy car. He bumped into Grant's leg and giggled. He said a phrase like it was a song. He said, "Weak daddy, weak daddy." The words came out light, like a rhyme. Grant froze. His face went still, like someone had pulled the plug. He knelt down and asked Owen where he heard that. Owen said it like it was obvious. He said Mommy said it on the phone. He said Aunt Darla laughed. I felt heat spread across my neck. I wanted to blame Owen for repeating it. I wanted to blame Grant for reacting. I said Owen was just copying sounds, and Grant should not be dramatic. Grant looked at me and asked very quietly if I understood what I was teaching our son. I said Grant was trying to guilt-trip me. I said he always used the kids as a shield. He stood up slowly and said he was not using them. He said he was protecting them. He said he would not let our home become a stage for my anger. That night, the house felt too quiet. Grant put the kids to bed without asking me for help. I heard him read to Mila in a calm voice. I heard Mila ask if Daddy was sad. Grant said he was okay, but he needed peace. Then the door closed. I lay in bed scrolling through my phone. Ethan had sent a short message. He said he liked talking to me and I deserved to feel chosen. I stared at it and told myself it was harmless. I told myself it was only words. Around midnight, I heard a soft mechanical sound from downstairs. It was steady, like teeth chewing paper. Then it stopped. A moment later, I smelled something faint and dry, like warm toner. I walked to the landing and listened. I heard a drawer click shut. I saw a thin line of light under the office door. Then it went dark. When I went back to bed, Grant's side stayed empty. I told myself he was being petty. I told myself he was trying to punish me with silence. But my chest felt tight anyway, because silence meant he was not chasing. Silence meant he was doing something else. Saturday was the day my mother wanted to fix things. She said we needed a real dinner with real adults and no hiding. She picked a family restaurant with a long table and bright lights. She said it would make everyone behave. I knew what she meant. She wanted witnesses. Grant drove us there. The kids were in the back seat with crumbs on their shirts. Mila held her little bag with crayons. Owen hummed and kicked the seat. Grant kept the radio low. He asked if we could keep the talk calm for the kids. I said calm was easy when a person had nothing to answer for. He asked what he had to answer for. I said he knew. At the restaurant, my mother, Janelle, was already seated. My sister Riley was next to her. My father sat across, quiet and careful. Grant's parents came a few minutes later. Miriam walked in like she was walking into work, not dinner. Harold followed with his hands in his pockets. We sat down. The table felt too long, like it was built for distance. A server brought menus, but my mother did not even open hers. She asked Grant how work was, but her voice sounded like she was testing him. Grant said work was busy, but fine. My mother asked if busy meant he was making progress or just staying tired. I laughed and said that was a good question. Grant looked at me and asked if we could not do this tonight. I said I was not doing anything. I said my mother was just talking. My mother asked why Grant always wanted to silence people. Grant said he did not want silence. He said he wanted respect. My mother said respect was earned. I nodded hard, like it was my line. Riley looked down at her glass. She asked if we could keep the kids out of it. I said the kids were part of the family and should see adults being honest. Grant said honesty did not mean public shaming. I said he was calling it shaming because he could not handle feedback. Miriam asked what exactly I was unhappy about. I said I was tired of carrying everything. I said I was tired of a weak provider energy. I did not say it as a joke this time. I said it as a verdict. Grant's father, Harold, cleared his throat and asked what weak provider meant. I said it meant Grant did not lead. I said he did not make me feel safe in the future. I said he expected praise for doing the minimum. Grant asked if I could stop using that phrase. He said our son had repeated it. I shrugged and said, kids repeated everything. I said maybe Grant should stop acting weak if he did not like the word. Miriam's eyes narrowed. She asked if I understood what words did to children. I said children were smarter than people thought, and they could see the truth. Grant asked my mother why she was pushing this. My mother said she was tired of seeing her daughter drained. She said I looked smaller every year. Grant said he worked long hours and still came home to help. My mother asked if he paid for a cleaner. She asked if he paid for childcare. She asked if he took me on trips. Grant said we had budgets. My mother smiled and said budgets were for people who could not provide. I watched Grant's face. He did not snap. He did not insult anyone. He just sat there and breathed. That calm made me want to hit harder, because calm made him look reasonable. So I brought up the bar. I said Grant walked out on me in front of my friends. I said he humiliated me. Grant said he left to avoid being mocked. He said my friends filmed him like he was a joke. Darla was not there, but my mother still defended her. She said friends only joked when something was true. Grant asked if my mother believed that. My mother said she believed her daughter. Riley finally spoke up. She said it was not okay to post private problems online. She said it was not okay to turn a marriage into content. I stared at her like she had betrayed me. I said she always acted like a referee, not a sister. Riley said she did not want to lie for me. I said nobody asked her to lie. I said she just loved being the good one. The server came back and asked what we wanted. I ordered fast like ordering could reset the air. Grant ordered for the kids. Miriam asked if Grant had eaten today. He said yes. She asked if he was sleeping. He said he slept when he could. I heard the care in her voice. It annoyed me. Halfway through dinner, my phone buzzed. The screen showed a missed call with no caller ID. It happened twice, close together. I flipped my phone over so nobody could see. Grant noticed anyway. He asked if everything was okay. I said it was probably spam. He nodded once, like he was filing it away. My father asked if we could talk about solutions. He said fighting did not build anything. Grant said he agreed. Grant said he wanted things clear and calm. I jumped in and said clear and calm meant I did not get what I needed. I said calm was just hiding. Grant asked me what I needed exactly. I said I needed a man who could keep up with my life. I said I needed drive. I said I needed to feel chosen, not managed. Miriam asked if I was talking about money or effort. I said both. I said a man should not need a scorecard. Grant said I was the one keeping score. He said I collected moments and used them like weapons. I laughed and said he was playing therapist now. I said he loved big words when he was cornered. After dinner, we walked to the cars. My mother hugged me and said I had been brave. Grant's father put a hand on Grant's shoulder and said he should not let anyone bait him. Miriam told Grant she would call him later. Riley avoided my eyes. In the car, Grant asked if I felt proud. I said I felt relieved. I said I was finally supported. He said support did not look like a public attack. I said he called it attack because he had no answers. He asked if I could stop turning every question into blame. I said he should stop asking questions and start changing. Sunday went by with stiff quiet. On Monday afternoon, I went to the school pickup line. The cars crawled forward. Parents stared at phones and watched the sidewalk. Mila came out first, holding her folder tight. She climbed in and asked why Daddy did not come anymore. I said Daddy was busy. She asked if Daddy was mad at me. I said Daddy was stressed and liked to act hurt. Then she asked a question that was too clean for her age. She asked if we were splitting up. I told her no. I told her adults had phases. She said her friends' parents had phases, and then they got 2 houses. My throat tightened, but I kept my voice smooth. I said we were not like that. When we got home, Grant was in the living room. He had a notebook open on the coffee table. He closed it when I walked in. I saw a page corner with neat lines and dates. I asked what it was. He said it was just notes for the week. I said he never needed notes before. He said he was trying to stay organized. Mila ran to her room. Owen ran circles around the couch. Grant asked how pickup went. I said fine. He asked if Mila seemed worried. I said Mila worried because he acted cold. He said he was not cold. He said he was careful. I followed him into the kitchen and asked why he kept closing things when I entered. He said he was allowed to have private thoughts. I said married people did not have secrets. He said privacy was not the same as secrets. I said that was a trick line. He said it was a boundary. That night, I woke up thirsty and went downstairs. I passed his small home office. The door was mostly closed. I heard a soft beep, like a recording app starting and stopping. I paused, but I did not open the door. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself he was just being weird. When I went back to bed, Grant was not beside me again. The empty space felt like a quiet argument that never ended. I told myself he was doing it to punish me. I told myself I was still the reasonable one. But I also knew something simple. He was not reacting the way my stories needed him to react. The next week felt like living with a person who had turned into a wall. Grant still did the same things. He woke up early. He packed lunches. He drove the kids. He paid bills on time. But he stopped offering me extra warmth. He stopped asking me to come close. He stopped trying to win. I told myself it was a tactic. I told myself he was trying to punish me with distance so I would crawl back. That idea made me angry, because I did not want to crawl. I wanted him to chase. I wanted him to prove he could lead. I wanted a dramatic scene that showed everyone I was right. On Tuesday, he texted me at noon. He asked if I could pick up groceries after work. He wrote it like a coworker, not a husband. I replied that I was busy and he should handle it if he wanted to act like the hero. He answered that he could, but he needed to know if I would be home for bedtime. I said he was obsessed with schedules. He said the kids needed routine. That calm tone made me feel small, so I made it bigger. I sent Darla a voice note and said Grant was being cold and controlling again. Darla replied that I should not accept silent treatment. She said I should remind him what he could lose. She said men only understood consequences. Later that day, Ethan messaged me too. He said he hoped my week was getting easier. He said he liked my energy and I should not let anyone dim it. I stared at the message longer than I should have. I told myself it was only words. I told myself I deserved to feel chosen by someone, because at home I felt managed. After work, I drove to the supermarket anyway, partly because I wanted to show I was still part of the house, and partly because I wanted a stage. The store was bright. The floors were too clean. The checkout line moved slow. I stood with a basket and watched people glance at their phones. My card was on top of the wallet stack, but I noticed something odd. A small note was taped inside the wallet pocket, like someone had left it there for me to see. It said, in Grant's neat handwriting, "Use joint for groceries only." There was no anger in the words. That was the worst part. At the checkout, I bought more than basics. I added fancy snacks and a new candle. I told myself I deserved comfort. When I tapped my card, it declined. The sound was loud, a hard beep that made the cashier look up. The cashier asked if I had another method. I felt heat rise in my face. People behind me waited and stared. I tried again. It declined again. I forced a laugh and said the machine was acting up. The cashier said it was showing insufficient funds for that account. I stepped aside and called Grant. He did not answer. I called again. I got voicemail. I texted him that this was humiliating and he had no right to embarrass me. He replied a few minutes later. He said the joint account still worked for groceries, but I needed to keep spending inside the weekly amount. He said it was not punishment. He said it was structure. I told him he was acting like my father. He said he was acting like a parent because someone had to keep the house stable. I said he was calling me unstable. He said he was calling the situation unstable and he was protecting the kids from it. I paid with my personal card and left with bags cutting into my fingers. In the car, I told myself he had crossed a line. I told myself this proved he was controlling with money. I told myself I should tell everyone. I opened the group chat and typed a message about how he cut me off. Then I stopped. Part of me knew the truth. He had not cut me off. He had limited chaos. At home, the driveway was full of quiet. Grant's car was pointed toward the street, like it was ready to leave fast. That detail hit me like a threat. Inside, the kids were in the living room. Mila was coloring. Owen was building a tower. Grant stood near the kitchen counter, wiping a spill with slow movements. He asked if I got everything. I said yes, but my voice was sharp. He asked what was wrong. I said he knew what was wrong. He said he did not, and he wanted me to say it plainly. I said he embarrassed me at the store. He said he did not know what I was buying, but he knew the budget. I told him budgets were for weak providers. I told him real men made life easy. He asked if I heard myself. I said I heard myself just fine. I said I was finally saying what everybody thought. He asked who everybody was. I said my friends, my family, normal people. He said normal people did not sit at dinner tables and call a parent weak in front of children. I stepped closer and lowered my voice, like I was being calm. I said if he wanted to play money games, I could play reputation games. I said I could tell everyone what he was really like. I said I could post what I wanted, and people would believe me because they already did. He looked past me at the kids. He asked Mila to take Owen upstairs to wash hands. Mila asked if we were fighting again. Grant said we were not fighting. We were having an adult talk. Mila took Owen's hand and went up, but she kept looking back. When the stairwell was quiet, Grant asked what I wanted. I said I wanted him to stop acting cold and start acting like a husband. He said he was acting like a husband by keeping the home safe. He said he would not argue with me in front of the kids. He said he would not chase me while I insulted him. I told him he was punishing me. He said he was setting boundaries. I said boundaries were a fancy word for control. He said control was forcing someone to accept disrespect. He said boundaries were what you did when respect was gone. I tried another angle. I said, maybe I would leave for a while and see how he handled it. I said he would miss me when the house fell apart. He said the house would not fall apart. He said he had a schedule for school, meals, and bedtime. He said he had already been doing it. That line stung because it was true. I felt my control slipping, so I grabbed the most dangerous thing I had, my story. I said he was lucky I stayed this long. I said other men would treat me better. I said I had options. He asked if that was a threat. I said it was reality. He asked if there was someone else. I said he was paranoid again. I said he should look at himself if he felt insecure. He said he did look at himself. He said he also looked at facts. He said patterns mattered. I followed him up the stairs, not touching him, but pressing with my voice. On the landing, I pointed at the guest room door and asked why he slept there. He said he needed rest. He said he could not rest next to a person who talked about him like he was trash. I said I only talked because he failed me. He asked how he failed me. I said he failed at providing, at leading, at keeping me satisfied with life. He asked what satisfied meant. I said it meant proud. I said it meant safe. I said it meant I did not need attention from anywhere else. He went very still at that. He did not accuse. He did not shout. He just nodded once, like he heard something final. I noticed a small object on the hallway table then, near the mail pile. It was a USB drive. A white label was wrapped around it with a date written in black ink. I picked it up. It felt heavier than it should. Grant reached out and took it from my hand without pulling. He said it was not mine. I asked what he was saving now. He said he was organizing. I asked why he needed a dated USB. He said he liked records. I said records were for people who did not trust their own marriage. He said trust was not something you demanded while you broke it. I laughed like I was above it, but my stomach was tight. I asked if he was going to run to his mother and cry. He said no. I asked if he was going to tell people lies about me. He said no. I asked what he was going to do then. He looked at me with a calm face that scared me more than anger. He said he would handle it properly. The next morning, I went to work like I was still in charge of my life. I wore a blazer and a calm face. I told myself Grant's properly line was just another drama trick. I told myself he would cool off, then come back to normal. By noon, my phone had 3 missed calls from an unknown number. I ignored them. I told myself it was spam. I told myself I did not need more noise. At 2:15 p.m., my manager messaged and asked if I could come down to the office tower lobby for a quick check-in. I went because I did not want to look difficult. The lobby was bright and loud, with people walking through like I was invisible. A man in a plain suit stepped toward me and asked if I was Nausicaa Calder. I said yes. He asked me to confirm my address. I said I did not have to confirm anything to a stranger. He said he was a process server and he had documents for me. I laughed once and said he had the wrong person. He held out an envelope anyway. He said he could leave it at my feet if I refused. I said that was ridiculous. My manager stood nearby, frozen, and asked what was happening. I said it was a misunderstanding. The process server said it was legal service, and he needed to complete delivery. I took the envelope because people were staring. My hands shook, and I hated that. I opened it right there because I needed control back fast. The first page said it was a divorce filing. My throat went dry. I scanned the next pages and felt my face go hot. There were temporary requests listed in plain language. It said the kids would follow a basic schedule right away. It said neither of us could drain accounts or move money around. It said I could not take the kids out of town without written agreement. It also listed temporary use of the home in a way that made it clear he had already planned where everyone would sleep. Then I saw the attachments, screenshots of my messages, dates and times, a list of posts and captions, a rideshare history page, a spending summary with small entries circled, even a note about Owen repeating, "Weak Daddy," with the date written beside it. I looked up and saw Grant across the lobby, not close, not threatening, just watching from a distance. He spoke to someone beside him, then turned away. My manager asked if I needed to sit down. I tried to speak, but my mouth would not form a clean sentence. I held the papers tighter, and the lobby kept moving around me like my life had already been filed, stamped, and taken out of my hands.